Вас приветствует утренний.
This is a morning show, Chronics of our Standoff and PhDs. Direct connection from our studio. Morning news. What are we going to discuss this morning? Of course, we're going to speak about what was happening yesterday, what's going to be happening this morning, and what will happen a little bit later. And today in my studio, I do have guests. Like in any normal morning show, I do have guests. Alexey Lobzin in a stage, Oleg Ivanov, Positive Technologies. You already visited me here.
Наши зрители вас
I believe that our viewers do recognize you. Hello, guys. Good morning. How was your last night?
В этот
Good morning. This time it was a peaceful night because we have changed our format a little bit. And during these PH days, we decided to rest during the night. So we put the game on pause. We look at the results, summing up. We think about tomorrow and getting ready for the next day.
защитники, они
And like attackers and defenders, we are refilling our energy so that in the morning we could begin the. So in the night you're relaxing. Well, what I can say. Yesterday we have received 150 reports from blue and 50 from red teams. Of course, we were not able to process all of them until 7, so we've been sitting until late night. Irrespectively to the number, we've been looking at every report very carefully. We require a lot of technical details. How do you feel yourselves? You're speaking about official spoilers. Official. Did you sleep? Did you eat? Everything's wonderful. I'm inspired. Our expectations came true. Finally, they started breaking SCADA systems. That's why today we are expecting something more interesting. But we don't have a lot of time for this interesting. When it's going to be the end of the fight?
атакующих.
2 p.m. for the attackers, and then we'll have time for defenders to investigate what's going to be delivered to them at the end of this session. That's why 2 o'clock attackers, and by 3 it's going to be the end for defenders. And how much time will defenders have after 2 p.m.? Couple of more hours. So are you confident that in a couple of hours you'll be able to investigate everything? Well, things that can be investigated, we can investigate things that have been started investigations. To build new chains, it's going to be difficult. Okay, dear friends,
сводка.
I have a
Появится у нас
news line. This news line will be on your screen, and we are going to discuss with my guests
события вчерашнего и может
the yesterday's events and maybe events from before yesterday. Well, in the course of yesterday, they have realized 28
государств.
inadmissible events in our replica state, and this is the first day. So, which team was the top one?
Команду выделять не буду.
Well, I'm not going to
Между командами
emphasize on one team, but between Kodobai and Tuluaks, there was a real fight between them. So I think it was the fight for the victory in a standoff, and all this was happening
нефтяной промышленности.
around oil companies. Both of them have been producing inadmissible events. Business risks were realized. So my bets are that one of them will win. So let's speak about those inadmissible events. The schedule has been removed, but the schedule had an interesting thing in it.
На этом графике
I do see on this list distribution by the number of inadmissible events in different industries in the course of all 3 days. Can you tell me, please,
отрасли достал
why transportation industry suffered the most, and what is so interesting about it? What was done by the managing city company and metal and mining?
Досталось
Well,
логистической компании.
logistical companies suffered the most because they didn't think about security of their ticket sales system,
Открытый, который
which was in the open access, and it's using open source, which can easily be broken. So all 16 events, these are open source WAV.
половины
WAV. More than half of it
реализации
was related with realization of
билетов.
ticket cost changes.
Металлика, например, то
Speaking about Metallica,
всего 2.
всего
only 2. Yes, only 2 inadmissible risks.
трудно было пробраться к ним.
However, it was very difficult to get through to them because their HR department does not open phishing letters. The scientific guys.
Пробиться в Металлика.
In order to get through to Metallica, we had to brute force login and password of the administrator to the attackers team, and through that they were able to get through to CRM and
За какой период времени они...
steal agents database. How long did it take them? From beginning to the end
Конца ребята
of realization, it required them approximately 24 hours.
Низко по...
And how is it close by timing to real life event?
были не
For example, if we wouldn't be on this cyber exercise, not in this replica state, but in real life, how much time would they need?
ваши
Everything depends on the defense level of your info security system. If everything is so bad as with logistical company, it might require much less time. But if you do have at least brute force defense and your users do know that they have to invent complicated passwords, no brute force will be able to get through to you. I want to ask you, what was the password? But I cannot say it
Итак, очень
before 2 p.m. Yeah, our colleagues from SOC have been arguing with me because I've told a lot of
после того, как...
hints last morning. Yeah, last morning you've been giving a lot of hints in SOC. They've been silent and they've been answering to my questions like yes, no, yes, no. Tell me, Oleg, in city management company, they do have a certain number of inadmissible events. How many?
Ну, на самом деле у нас не такое равномерное
Well, we don't have such an equal distribution of those inadmissible events because the specifics of every industry and every segment is different.
распределение.
And our managing company
Потому
is a modern managing company because it has development. Yesterday, we have realized implementation, injection of the code in the software. Also, there are different systems responsible for the city, for the buildings. So this is one of our biggest risk-wise, and also it represents also retail. And today we do expect that there will be some retail-related realizations because our colleagues from SOC and our people who are following the infrastructure, they also see the presence and they see that passwords are being brute forced. They look at the access to us because it also represented here. And we do hope that attackers will be able to do that. They will get some more points. Yeah, we'll come back to both of you. It's understandable that all these events you know by heart because you've been programming them and you've learned them yourselves, right?
Каждый из вас...
So which event you expect? Which you want to see?
когда
I expect when
в нефтяном предприятии включат
on a broken oil company they will switch on a system of fire extinguishing and tank will be filled with foam, but not in a demonstration mode. But when it's gonna be done by attackers, it's gonna be beautiful. What about you?
отнимать
I don't want to take bread from Vladimir Nazarov about his. Well, I will take office. We have a banking system in this year, and it's very close to real banking system because they have interbanking transfers. And I do hope that guys will move in this direction because we do see their presence already in the banking office, and we see that they are trying to break DBO system. So I'm waiting until these risks will be realized. It's going to be very cool and interesting. Well, I've been told that upon the results of the last day, you've accepted 2 incident reports. Is that right? Which 2 reports? I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. From a beautiful team, which has a beautiful name, a dancing name, a zone. What were these reports about?
ребята смогли распутать
Finally, guys were able to separate one attacker from another attacker, but there are not 2, but 13 of them. And this is the case when there was a big chaos. So they've just divided them, and right now they started giving reports about risk realization. They were able to clean the chain that was realized by Data Action Team and St. Petersburg attackers team.
Ребятам, я думаю, стало все сильно.
I think they started understanding the situation, and today we expect more reports from them. I'd like to remind you that in our standoff, we have five defenders. Can you tell me something about them? Where are they from?
То есть я уже слышу, что там
I do hear that they have heroes from previous standoffs. Pro us, I think, participate.
Да, давай
These are attackers.
Я почему-то хорошо запоминаю название.
Yeah, I do remember names of attackers.
Чего-то там бани я очень люблю.
Evil Bunny or something like that.
Команд атакующих, 5
We have 5 defense teams.
объекты и
Our facilities are being protected by them.
что
And I would like to say that 2 teams do participate for the second time.
Да?
And we can see that.
видно,
Yes, we can see that. By the level of fullness of their technical reports they submit, by the speed of their reaction.
Читала, что
By the way, I've been reading that average time for investigation report submission is more than 17 hours. For those who participated in stand-up, how much this time is reduced?
трудно сравнивать
It's hard to compare
за 17 часов
those who
реализацию целого бизнес-риска,
found the realization of the full business risk within 17 hours from the guys who defend
которые уже участвовали в стендов.
and those who participated in standoff before. Right now we see some small
Там не собралось, поэтому
activities and we don't see a lot of full chains, so it's too early to compare. I think tonight we are going to speak about results. If
события
unadmissible events will happen in their facilities, and then we'll be able to compare these times specifically for you. All
про
get ready. Okay, let's speak about attackers. We've been speaking about defenders. Right now, let's speak about attackers. If we will calculate them, there are more than 140 of them, almost 150
Ну,
people. Yeah.
там много, а они
Well, there's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Nobody counted them. That's true.
17
And how many teams in total? 17.
отчет по-французски был?
Did you have a French report?
они продолжают
Продолжают.
прислать.
No, they continue sending us reports in English. Well, they can send us reports in Russian. Well, the French team
которые занимаются.
has been connected with our guys in community, and they're really happy, and they promise by the next event to send more teams from France. So we wait for the update, and they will make a report specifically for you in French. Well, it's very interesting. Do you have any protege or those you really like amongst the attackers? No, I have. For example, bunnies. I love bunnies. I like the name bunnies. Evil bunnies. Well, we do receive reports, so we have to keep neutrality. But I would like to point out that it's not the first year they participate, and they approach preparation very professionally. They have role distribution
Мероприятия. Плюс у них есть
that has to be used for our event. They also have a lot of templates and reports they are writing. They see them not for the first time, so they're trying to get ready for this in order to spend minimum time for report filling. So each year they become better, cooler, more experienced. So we expect that all other newbies will come up to this level. And as we can see from French team, everything is possible because they actively participate and they like it. Are they connected remotely?
потому что на
No, we did not bring them here because, yes, we have selected them by the level, but
Удаленно.
онлайн, да, чтобы понять,
they are participating remotely in order to see how this format is understandable, how convenient it is for them. So they are for the first time. I believe that next time,
можно спокойно.
according to their current progress, we can invite them to our
Я
conference. That's cool. So right now, we'd like to announce the next news. Well, any morning show always has financial news section. So we also have stock exchange news. Because why? Because what? Because in our standoff, we have organized stock exchange. And our companies are selling the securities there, and all realized risks are influencing the stock prices. So, whose prices went down, whose prices went up, into whom we should invest yesterday? Well, plus minus, all the teams are very strong.
Потому что сейчас
and many of them have dropped
атаки,
because they're being attacked all the time, and we can see that, and attacks negatively influence the stock exchange. But one company stands, it's a banking sector. Perhaps it's because they have less risks, and these risks are more complicated from the point of view of their realization, because
используются вот этот
it's
проект
a real soft
и
that has been installed and used, and people are trying to break it. But tell me about the dynamics. How powerful was the storm in our economy? It was powerful because our logistical companies still receiving a lot of vulnerabilities in their ticket sales, plus in the city. And how much is the price of this logistical company? About 200 relative units. In the beginning, all the companies were in the same range, in the same price range, and it was
до 800.
from 1,000 to 800. So they've dropped significantly from 1,000 down to 200. Did anybody grow? Nobody has grown.
Ивент.
Maybe they will grow to the next event,
Сплошной ущерб.
but right now it's a full and complete damage.
Конечно,
Okay, I see. Everybody's suffering from this, because they've realized an inter-industrial event. For example, if they break oil company,
упали и у аэропорта,
the
в том числе.
shares of the airport have dropped because after the pipeline have stopped operating, the hacker team prevented delivery of the fuel, aviation fuel, to the airport, and airplanes stopped flying. I have an idea for the next event. I have an idea. I think that at the input, we shouldn't just bring those companies that we have on the stock exchange. And what is the name of this stock exchange? Stand exchange, standby stock exchange.
Так подожди, у
Yeah, we'll use your name. Well, my idea is not about a name. Not just companies should be put on the stock exchange, but immediately we should make defenders to be shareholders of those companies. We should give them some shares of those companies to defenders, so they will be incentivized to defend their companies. Yeah, we need to change the rules. We need to bend the rules.
В ноябре уже они смогут противодействовать.
Well, maybe in November they will be able to defend. Okay, we should give them certain capital in the shares of those companies. Good idea, I think. Yeah, I think. Yeah, material interest to defend your own property, not for the salary, but it's a personal. I just don't know what can be given to attackers.
Играть на понижение. Это
Well, they can play for price reduction. It's going to be beneficial for them, and they can destroy competitors. Wonderful plan. Everything's like in real life. Okay, can you tell me, please, what are your expectations from today? What do you expect? What are your hopes? And
Давайте вы дадите...
I would say differently. Can you give me a forecast on what's going to happen today? And we are going to check this forecast tonight. Well, it's difficult to make any forecasts. All right, forget about me checking you tonight.
чтобы прям
I want
недопустимых событий
to see more and more inadmissible events,
они были очень плотными.
so that in these 5 hours we would have a lot of events
Завершение дня по ХДС
and effects, and the end of PH days would be happy and fun. So the more of inadmissible events we're going to have, the better it is. So my expectations are that everything's going to be like that. Well, it's a game, and like in any game, it's interesting to see the end of the game, not with a 0-0 score. It's already not 0-0, but when there is a big victory for somebody. So I would like to wish dry victory. No, dry victory will not happen, because guys were able to decipher the change. So I would like to wish each team, red teams, to have more new and admissible events. 14 out of 100 already have been realized. Okay, bring this number at least up to 30. You think it's realistic? Double it in 5 hours.
Реально, потому
I think it might be realistic, because in the course of 2 first days, they've realized only 3 risks, and yesterday they've realized additional 11. So, realized additional 16. I think it is possible, because I can say they are strong guys, and I would like to wish to blue guys to collect more realized chains. Thank you very much, guys. Oleg, Alexei, I do hope that right now you're going to wake up. You will wake up your teams. Successful day to all of you. Okay, guys, we are finishing this morning and we're moving to the streets of our replica state, and our broadcast will be from there. So the next broadcast will be sightseeing with Vladimir Nazarov.